If you've been looking for a mentor or you want to upskill in your career, well, this episode is for you. We're talking all things mentoring, and we're going to talk about the 3 most crucial skills you need to build in your career. You are going to want to hear this episode because we know the future is a bit unknown, but these are the skills that are going to set you up long term in a world that, it's a bit chaotic. We've got AI, we've got lots of change going on. But develop these skills and it will set you up for success. We're also going to be talking about how you sell your ideas to the business and how you influence senior leaders. I'm joined by my really good friend, Adrian Smith, who is a regular on this podcast. Let's go. This is a podcast about making work work. You'll learn about leadership, career growth, and how to navigate those weird work challenges. I run a HR consulting business called Boldside, where I help leaders build epic team cultures. If you lead a team or run a business and you think I can help, let's connect on LinkedIn. My name is Shelley Johnson, and this is Work. Okay, so if I say phone a friend, is it only millennials and Gen Xers who know what phone a friend refers to? It kind of reminds me of, what's that guy's name? Eddie McGuire.
Are we in?
Yeah, we're going. We're live. I'm asking you.
Sorry.
Yeah, we started.
That was so abrupt.
No, we started. I'm asking you a question.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
You're my friend that I phoned in today, literally with an hour's notice to be like, can you
Hence
come?
the question, have we started?
And we have. So I'm just wondering, do we still say phone a friend? Who wants to be a millionaire?
Eddie McGuire.
Yeah, Eddie McGuire. Do we phone a friend?
Say his name anymore? I don't know. I think he's cancelled.
Yeah, okay.
Phone a friend, no.
So it's not commonly talked about. Today I'm phoning a friend, and you're that friend. Adrian Smith on the show today.
Sorry for that intro.
No, I think I should be apologising for the intro. But here we are, and I phoned you in, and the reason why is we've got some really good listener questions, and when I looked at these, I was like, I'm calling in Adrian. I'm calling in the big guns. And so thank you for joining us on the pod today. We're going to get into some of these questions. There are a whole range of things that we're going to cover. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's go.
I'm excited. I've had 0 prep, so this will be fun.
This will be fun. Okay, so Malachi says, how do you find a mentor in an area of work you want to be in?
Oh, so assuming different to the area that they're currently in.
Yeah, so I get the sense from Malachi's question, reading between the lines, that he wants to move careers, maybe career change, or he wants to step up and he's trying to find someone to help in that capacity.
Question.
So I don't know, what's your thoughts on finding a mentor outside of your current role?
I'm pretty simple in that. Find someone that's in the industry that you want to go in and get to know them and take them out for coffee. I don't know,
Are you wondering if you're oversimplifying it?
Yes, I did have that question.
Am I oversimplifying it? I think mentoring is an interesting thing because when people say, how do I find a mentor? I think we make it too formal.
Mentor in the area you want to be in.
Do you know what I mean? When I say to someone, I'd like you to be my mentor, it's kind of like a long-term commitment implied. Whereas I think, and Em Bowen, on my team often says just find mentoring moments.
Yes, and it doesn't have to be a person.
Oh yeah, tell me more about that.
Mentoring can become through observation of a skill set more than just a person. Because if someone says, oh, can you mentor me? You're going, I subscribe to your way of life and I want you to teach me how you live life. Whether it could be in these things. But really what you're saying is actually, you have a skill set and you've developed a set of skills in your area of expertise that I'm attracted to and want as well. And so mentoring broadly, I think, is wrong. I think understanding I want to get better in this particular area, can you teach me?
I love that. So can you then, and I'm just expanding on that, has there been a skill set you're like, I really want to develop that, and you found someone to help you with that specific skill?
Yeah, when I was at Telstra, we had a consultant come in named Dave Llewellyn who became a mentor and taught me how to sell, how to frame conversations and how, very specifically, he mentored me in that skill set. and he's a lovely person, and I learn a lot from him just holistically, but as a mentor, I sought him out even after leaving Telstra to go, can you help me develop my leadership skills? Can you help me develop, like, how do I lead a team? I'm now in a CEO role, like, what the heck does that even mean? Like, what are the things I need to be aware of? And so very specific, and there's an outcome to it rather than can we walk along the beach and talk life, and there's this elusive, like, what does it actually mean? Can we put handles to what mentoring is?
I do like the idea of narrowing your focus to a skill. Like, often when we're talking with people and they say one of the pitfalls of trying to grow and develop in your organisation is you ask your manager, let's say you're my manager, and I come to you in our one-on-one and I say, hey, Adrian, do you have any feedback for me? And the problem with, like, those kinds of questions...
Heaps of feedback.
Heaps. Or...
You sip coffee really loud. You...
Tell me exactly what you think.
Yeah.
When we ask those, like, really broad, sweeping questions where, do you have any feedback for me? It becomes really difficult for that person to answer because they're like, well, where do we begin? Or what am I focusing on? Or what do you want to get out of it? Whereas I like when you're saying, with a mentoring relationship, don't focus on that walking by the beach, dealing with all aspects of life and career. Focus on, hey, this is the skill that I'm trying to develop and I want to just hone in on that.
Yeah.
And that might mean you find yourself having 4 or 5 people who you would consider, in inverted commas, a mentor on different skills that you're trying to build up. So it might be, I want someone to help me with my presentation skills. I want someone to help me with my sales skills. I want someone to help me with emotional intelligence. And I know this person is really good at reading the room. And so I find people to help me with a skill-specific thing rather than I need to just find the one person who's going to coach and mentor me in all the things.
And we're in a world where you don't need to personally know the mentor, like, because content now is so great with YouTube, and like, you can be mentored in your specific skill set by someone that you admire but have no proximity to, and they can still be your mentor. So, like, if someone says they mentor me, does it necessarily mean personally?
Yeah, cool.
Like, because you can watch, Layla Hormozi on leading a massive team. Like, she has amazing content. Pull back the curtain, like, that's a mentor. Like, you can still attribute that. So I asked a friend of mine to mentor me early on because people termed me as arrogant as I was growing up. Yeah, really arrogant. And I said, what's it like to be on the other side of me? Like, do you see me as an arrogant person? And we talked through that specifically, like, how do I, and he's a presenter, how do I present to people? Like, if I get in a sales conversation, I don't want to be seen as arrogant. So what does it look like to be not seen as arrogant? And what are those things that pop up that people could attach to say that you're arrogant? So very specific.
Yes.
So I think instead of saying, how do I find a mentor in the area? Like, how do I find someone that can speak into my life directly on an issue that I think is helpful for me to develop as a person?
Can I ask you a follow-up question on that, on the arrogance thing? Because it's really interesting, and it's like one of those types of bits of feedback you get that is behavioural, and when it's like behavioural, it can feel really hard to go, okay, what do I do with this? Like, that's heavy feedback.
Yeah.
What was it that helped temper that for you? Because my interactions with you, having known you for, I don't know how long I've known you for, but like, I never ever in my mind described you as that. Like, I consider you to be so humble. So whatever's happened in that journey of working on that thing must have worked.
Yes.
And I'm sure there's people listening who have had that feedback of, hey, you come across as a bit arrogant or overconfident, or you've got an ego.
Yeah.
What did you do to counter or temper some of that?
When I teach sales, there's one part that I say is go silent and count to 15. Like, when you present the offer, count to 15 and go silent. That was the thing I did in my conversations. And so the thing that tempered my arrogance was listening more. I think I wasn't a good listener. I'm the youngest of 7 kids. And I think the thing that was coming up for me is it was competitive. It felt competitive. Like, you always wanted to be noticed and, seen. And so like I've worked with some great people, but feedback is I've never spoken about them because it feels like arrogance. And so maybe I've flipped too far where I even can't talk about some of the success or things. But a lot of that was listening more, talking less, and getting better at asking questions. That was a big one, to understand more of the person. And so instead of trying to get to the outcome as quickly as possible, getting a broader understanding of the context. So more questions, more listening. And if you're not talking, you often can't come across as arrogant. So there was something about that for me.
It's interesting to hear you talk that through, because you are a great question asker, and everyone who listens to this podcast knows I love a good question asker. I think it's a really underrated skill. It's a skill that very emotionally intelligent people have worked hard to build. And it's the type of skill people that make, when you ask good, curious questions, not in a way that feels like an interrogation, but in a way that feels like, I really want to know about you.
Yeah.
I care about you. I want to know about you and where you're at. The outcome of that is that people like you more.
Yeah.
Like it would be a really high correlation with likability.
Yeah, my arrogance was actually my attempt to be liked, because I want to be liked and I want to be helpful and I like people. But I think I was too performative or trying to grab too much attention because of my upbringing and being in such a big family that I just overplayed my hand, and sometimes it just felt like especially in the younger years where I was like, I remember like a clash with one other teammate where he was similar, like were very similar, and he didn't like me and I didn't like him. And then a year later we saw each other in a pub and had a beer, and we just both discussed, like we said, sorry, hey, like that wasn't us. And we both were like, hey, I think we just met on this particular energy that could have been seen as arrogance and whatever, and we clashed. And so for me, I'm like, I actually just really wanted to get to know you. But for whatever reason, like in that attempt, arrogance shot through and it put the wall up for him, and same vice versa. So yeah, it's interesting to say that, because I really like people. I genuinely want to get to know them and understand them. And so just understanding some of those triggers was key for that.
And it's good to think about, I know it's very like accidental therapist, but like thinking about your upbringing, and I like having known both of us come from big families, yours bigger, and that environment of, I would imagine for you, youngest of 7, is you're constantly trying to be heard.
Oh yeah.
So you're overplaying the voice because your voice is the smallest in the family of like big personalities and all this stuff. And I'm on the other end of like towards the oldest in my family, very dominant voice. Yeah, so like I'm sure like my youngest siblings would be like, you were very dominant and like didn't listen. And so like it's interesting when you think about how much your family of origin, your childhood plays into how you show up at work. And one thing that I really love in what you're describing is like, well, there's a couple of things. A person told you this is how you're coming across. Now, it's really interesting. This is how you're coming across versus this is who you are.
Yes. Yeah.
We've got to be able to detach. If someone says, hey, you're coming across as arrogant, it doesn't mean you are arrogant.
No.
It just means, hey, some of the tone, the delivery, the way you're showing up, because I think who you are for your probably whole life is like you are a very humble person. I know the people that you've worked with, and like everyone listening knows them. Every single person listening to this podcast knows who they are without knowing. And it does. But I mean, you're very humble. And so I say all that to go, it's one thing to get, you've got to be able to detach yourself, your identity from feedback. So if you're getting feedback that hurts, like, because I imagine if I got feedback to say, I mean, some of the feedback that has hit hard for me is like, which is not a surprise to anyone, is like, you just don't know when to shut up. Like, so like early days, like just stop. Just stop talking. Stop.
If I was closer to
yeah, we would be like, shh, zip it. Like, and there's been so many like feedback moments. And so I think it's worth looking at And really interesting because we'll just go the therapy route on this conversation. We'll get to the listener questions.
Thanks, Malachi.
Sorry, Malachi.
Really kicked us off.
Yeah, we've really gone deep. Sometimes the feedback that you get links to an innate skill that's overplayed.
Yeah.
So like for me, like I would say one of my big strengths is communication.
Yes.
Like I think I'm a good communicator. But because I know like I can talk well, then I over talk, and that like actually when that strength is in overdrive is really unhelpful for people.
Yeah.
And so I think often the things that derail us in our career is that thing that we're like, it's part of a strength. And if you don't hone that strength,
if you lean on it too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because one of your, like, if I think about some of your strengths, you're quite strategic and decisive, and you know a right pathway forward. And so in that strength of being able to see this is where we're going, you can, that maybe that overplayed thing is like getting to the solution too quickly.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and then because people haven't caught up to speed, like you haven't brought people on the journey, you've gone, okay, I can see how this plays out. The arrogance thing or the overconfidence or the brashness to go, that's where it can come across. And so I have to be very careful. And even still, I still think about the arrogance thing to go, have I asked enough? Have I brought people on the journey? Have I tried to create it as their idea? Like, how do I get people to see that outcome? And am I wrong?
Yeah, cool.
Because I'm not the only right person in the room. Like, everyone's right to a certain extent. And so understanding...
Or everyone's wrong.
Or everyone's wrong. We're all right or wrong together.
Yeah.
And so anyway, it's a skill. So back to Malachi, I reckon pressing in to go, the area of work you want to be in is very broad. Like, what are the skills that make you, good in your job now, but fantastic regardless of what career you want to go into? Because getting a mentor in a vocation just tells you how to do the job. Getting a mentor in a vocation to say how to do the job well is very different.
And also to that point,
I don't know if that made sense.
Well, no, it does. I think like getting a mentor to help you with the skills to thrive in a range of jobs is far higher value in what we know of the world right now, which is who really knows what jobs are going to be there in 2-3 years' time.
Yeah.
Like this is your world that you play in AI, and that's your whole job.
Yes.
And all of us are scratching our heads going, well, what jobs and careers are going to be out there in the next 5 to 10 years?
Human to human.
Human to human.
Just like become a better human. Malachi, just be a better human.
And Malachi's like, thanks, I'll write that down.
Yeah.
Thank you. I do like the idea of actually what are the like skills. I've been thinking heaps about this. I don't know who this came from. It came from someone else's pod about the domino skills. So what is, if you think about, like, you might want to be really good in all these different areas, but if you think about the highest impact first skill that is a domino to the others, what is that? Like, and so, for example, let's say someone wants to get better at connecting with people. They're like, actually, one of my pain points is I'm introverted. I struggle sometimes to meet new people, and that's actually holding me back in my career because when I'm interacting with senior leaders, I feel like I'm not maybe connecting in the way that is helpful for me.
Yeah.
What is the domino first skill that will flow on and give you momentum? And so I don't know what your thoughts about that are. Like, as I'm just rattling through, the first thing I think goes to what you've actually just described as the listening and asking questions is a very good initial skill to connect with people. But as you're hearing that, what's going through your mind? Because I can see
curiosity.
Okay.
Curiosity because even like Malachi's question is there's a curiosity of going, I'm in this world, and for whatever the motivator is to go, I want to be in that area, maybe it's I can earn more money or whatever. You've got to have a curiosity about you in your life to go, like, what else is out there? And if you, like, even the visual of opening your hands to go, Who are you as a person? And the biggest skill set that I think is that domino effect, the curiosity to genuinely want to know about the other person on the other side of the table. It is the greatest leveler, regardless of what position they're in, regardless of what they do. Like, who are you outside of this? Like, tell me about your life. Tell me about, there's just a curiosity that you need in your life that opens up all of these opportunities. Just to go, I just want to know. Like, there's something about that.
And like the cool thing with this is when you think, and I love thinking about curiosity as that domino skill set, the first one in a range of things that gives you that momentum. People listening could find their own version of that. So curiosity might be a thing for you. If you're listening, you're like, that's the skill I want to build. The other one that I think is relevant right now, and you tell me because you're playing in this space so much of AI and getting this read on what are the things we're really going to need now and in the future. I also think adaptability, like the ability to like just, and like I say that as someone who's probably not that adaptable. I don't love that. But like, what are your thoughts as you're hearing that?
Oh, absolutely. AI is the greatest disruptor, and it is moving so fast, faster than we can all fathom how fast it's
in
moving.
Our tiny human brains.
In our tiny human little ant brains. And every week, so the adaptability is the skill set to go, the information that I had when I made this decision is the reason I'm here. But the information that I've now received puts me in a different position, and I have to adapt to that. And so you're not wrong to be in the position you are, you just have to be okay to change course with new information. That's just being adaptable. To go, okay, I'm here for a reason. I made decisions based on the information I have. Now the information has changed.
Yes, I love that.
And curiosity, adaptability of going, okay, well, I could stay this course and be stubborn in it. Like my job will never be taken by AI. Who knows? Or I could go, what is it? What skills do I need? How do I be curious about the technology that's here to go, am I even in a position to be adaptable? Because that's also the biggest thing is if you don't have the skill set, you're not curious about the technology, then your options in being adaptable is going to be limited because you haven't been curious about it.
I love it. This is perfect. Sense? I'm imagining this as a. Can you have a Venn diagram have 3 circles?
In this instance,
absolutely. You can.
Yeah.
So we got 3. Let's
you got that little...
draw it. Like, so if you're looking right now, we've got 1, 2, 3.
Forgot about you guys.
Yeah. So 3, let's say we've got curiosity, adaptability. We're going to just work this out right now. What is the third one? So if we're going, okay, in the future of work, and if we look at Malachi, anyone wanting to build their skills, what are the highest value skills you can build? I do think curiosity is 1000% there. I think adaptability has to be there. What would you say is the third? I've got an idea, but I don't know if it's right, and so I'd rather you say it first and hopefully be wrong.
Curiosity, adaptability. There has to be something about like emotional intelligence or something like that. There has to be the human aspect because curiosity it's both internal and external.
Yes.
Adaptability is internal and external. Emotional intelligence is the ability to transfer those into effectively a skill that allows us to have a conversation about it or work towards something together. Is that, yeah?
So I had in my mind connection.
Yeah, okay.
So like the ability to connect and sit across the table from you with shoes off. Don't look at my feet. Hide your eyes. No, actually, if you want to connect with people, preferably keep your shoes on.
Keep your shoes on.
Unless you've known them for a long time.
It's up here, Adrian.
Yeah, gross. And actually, my toes look really bad. Connection, like how do you connect with someone? Because I think the application and the overlay of the 3 skills.
Because curious connection.
Yeah.
Curious in adaptability. Yeah, I like that.
So the connection between, and if you're listening and you can draw your little 3-way Venn, if that's a thing, connection up the top, adaptability and curiosity overlaid and go, okay, if I was to think about me in 5 years' time, if I master the skill of connection, I can connect one-on-one or one-to-many with people. I've mastered the skill of adaptability. I can adapt to really changing climates. And you look at the world, like the world is so chaotic. Like we all need to adapt.
Yes.
And you're like, yes, we do. Yes. You're like, yes, we absolutely do. And then how do I be curious? And I love what you said there about self and other. Like curious about myself to know my blind spots, to confront the pain points. Yeah. Curious about other people, not for the sake of what I can get out of it, but just genuinely interested in people.
Which leads us to the next question, actually.
Do you want to grow in your career? Are you after a fresh start or some inspiration? Or perhaps you're in a career crisis? The book Sort Your Career Out and Make More Money by Shelley Johnson and Glenn James is such a great resource at any stage in your career. It will give you practical strategies for things like getting a promotion, making more money, moving into a leadership role, taking career risks, or if it's time to quit your job, and so much more. You can find Sort Your Career Out and Make More Money wherever good books are sold or via the link in the podcast show notes. It's also available as an audiobook.
That leads us into this with Jackson. Thanks for sending your message. How to sell your ideas in the business.
Yeah, this is a good one. I think I've heard a lot lately from workshops we've been doing with leaders, as well as especially emerging leaders or high performers who are coming up the ranks, is a struggle with confidence of how do I actually pitch something to senior leaders? How do I get them to buy in? And this question we have often at Boldside is, how do I influence people?
Absolutely.
So this is one thing, and you and I have worked closely over the years on this. You've been a coach to me when it comes to sales, my sales skill set, which has been hugely, hugely beneficial, and like have done lots of hours working with me on how I build that skill set.
Yeah.
I reckon this is a really good one for you to speak to. How do you actually get people to buy in and sell ideas or influence the business?
I think what we spoke about up front is key, because you need to be, because you're in a position, like there is a hierarchical position, even though we all talk about like, we're a flat leader, like blah, blah, blah. But there is...
So you mean that's not true?
That's definitely not true.
There is like power
there is
differentials.
a power imbalance in every organization. And so the curiosity, the adaptability is super key. Like, what am I not seeing in the business, and why has this decision been made? Even though I disagree with it, why do we do the things that we do? Be curious about it. And it's usually because, 5 years ago when we had the information that we had, we made this process and it worked and there was success in it, and so you doubled down on it. So it's not wrong, it's just understanding at some point I was part of a decision that was made that has led us to here. So be curious about that. Understand how the business works. It'd be great for your business acumen. But then the connection side of things. Although you think your boss is a numpty.
Do you think your boss is a numpty? Are you the boss? You are the boss.
I am a numpty.
Yeah, okay.
My employees definitely think I'm a numpty.
They're looking at you thinking that right now.
He's doing a podcast.
Yeah,
Look at him go.
What is he doing?
Although you think these things, like, they're also in the position they're in because they've made decent decisions along the way, potentially, or they've just been handed and gifted the golden cup, but they've made decisions. So connection is key. If you want to sell an idea to the business, you have to learn the skill of being curious, being adaptable in the business, but also how do you connect with your leaders to go like, who are they as humans? Like, if you just go and present an idea and go, the way we're doing it is rubbish, we need to do it this way. Well, then you become like young Adrian, you're just arrogant, you don't really know, you haven't done your time. If I was to frame, hey, and like just verbatim, I would say, hey, boss.
Hey, numpty.
Hey, numpty. Hey, we do this process and I have an idea of how it could be done differently. I don't know what the outcome would be, but I feel like it could have a really positive effect on the business. And this is what I propose. If you just say, this process sucks, and no solution, well, you're a numpty. Like, but if you come and you go, hey, this is the problem that I see, this is the impact on work that it's having, or the impact on the business that I can see from my view. Again, Mr. Boss, Mrs. Boss, I don't have your view, so maybe I'm incorrect, but this is the proposed solution. If you pitch it like that, your chances of being heard are way better than just saying, this process sucks, can't believe we do this, it's so backward. Like, it gets you nowhere. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I wonder if, just thinking back to stuff that you've taught me in like learning the art of sales, which is absolutely an art.
Yes.
And something really underrated, in my opinion. I don't know why people like put sales in this like dirty category where they're like, oh, someone's trying to sell me stuff. People who are good at sales get really far in their career.
Oh, yeah. And it's like we still call it sales, which we kind of shouldn't.
Because I do think it's like influencing people.
I was about to say the exact same thing. You're influencing a decision. That's all it is. And so whether you're selling a camping chair or not, you just propose facts to someone and help them make a decision on something.
I think the key thing there, the key word you just referenced is helping. Because like when good salespeople, you never feel you've been sold to, you feel they're helping you. And that's why sales has a bad reputation, because when we think of sales, we think of people trying to ram something down our throats or like trying to like really push us into a decision that we don't want to make. Whereas people who are actually super skilled in this area are the ones that you leave and you're like, oh, gee, they're so helpful.
I went in going, I'm not going to purchase anything, and I walk out with something. Like, that is a good sell.
And it should be like, it should feel natural to the person on the other end. Like it should feel like, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. One thing that I've learned from you, going back a step, is talk to the problems.
Yes.
And be clear about what those problems are, and not in a judgy way, in like a curious way of going, hey, I've noticed this problem on our team. We seem to have this recurring issue in our processing where it takes us a lot of resource to get X done.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about how can we make this more efficient to get a better outcome for the customer or for whoever. And here's my idea. Can we talk it through? If you speak to a problem, and also I think the other thing is communication 101 is know your audience.
Yes.
Like we know about this podcast, most of our listeners are between 28 and 38. Like we know, and they're majority female. And so we know a lot of people who are in nursing, who are in like big corporates, and like the more we know about these people, the more we can actually have a conversation that resonates with them. But if you don't know the audience, if you don't know the problems, and then if you can't speak to how you can help solve those problems, well, you're not going to be able to influence anyone.
No. And it feels way better just as a person to be able to critically think about a process or a situation and go, like, regardless of how I feel about this, what is the path forward? And it's really frustrating me. And that's valid to go to your leader and say, hey, this process is really frustrating because of X, Y, and Z. And we spend X, Y, and Z hours doing this, and that just feels like there should be another way. Is it okay if we explore another way of doing it? Yeah. Like, who would say no to that?
And even adding into it the idea of, hey, boss, I know you really care about this. I've noticed this one hurdle on our team is stopping us from delivering what you really care about. Like speaking to the thing that matters to that person versus what matters to you. Because what matters to you might be, I hate doing this process, the workflow sucks. Well, yeah, it probably does. Yeah. But you've got to be able to sell the idea of what matters to the person who's going to make that final decision, not what matters just personally to you.
Yeah. And managing up, that's a thing. Like, learn how to influence up, because if you do want a long career in the thing that you're doing, like, that's always going to be the thing. Understanding what it motivates your leader or your team, what are actually the core things that move the needle in your team, and then attack those.
And going back to up front, that idea of curiosity is crucial for that. If you want to manage up, you've got to be curious. You've got to listen to when your manager is saying things, what do they care about? What are the themes? What are the patterns? Because if you can really capture those, then you go, okay, I understand what matters to them. Then I tailor my message. And it's not about, sometimes people think it's being manipulative. It's not. It's about getting outcomes and movement.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's just, again, communication 101, know the audience. Now, we are going to need to wrap up. We could talk all day.
Yeah.
Always. Unfortunately, we don't have all day.
No, we don't.
Because I called you in at last minute. Adrian, how do people find you that want to connect with you?
Just find me on LinkedIn, Adrian Smith.
Adrian Smith.
That's it.
It's good I know your name and I can repeat it back to you.
Yeah.
If you've enjoyed this podcast, I'll say thanks for coming in. If you've enjoyed this podcast, share it with a friend or give us a 5-star rating or you can do both.
Do both. Yeah.
Please do both. Give us a 5-star rating on Spotify or Apple or both. Thanks for hanging out.
Thanks.
If you have enjoyed the show today, forward it to a friend, colleague, or family member who you may think it would benefit. Shelley's business Boldside provides leadership training for a variety of different businesses. To learn more, visit boldside.com.au. If you would like to book Shelley to speak at one of your events, please reach out to the team via moneypodcast.com.au.